Hey, hello everyone. I'm gonna have to adjust things a little bit. Sorry about the late start. It my wife evidently needed the recording studio, and I was unaware that she recorded. So things are a little messed up. Let me see if I can get this back where I had it. That looks a little better. There we go. Drop the lights down so they don't reflect quite so much as well. And while I'm busy doing that stuff, why don't you let me know what you want to talk about today? Come here. My cat came to join us today. Wave to the people, Squeaky. Say hey. All right. So I have a test coming up on Thursday. I've been working on that quite a bit the last couple of days. Here's what I have so far. Oh, here we go. Final exam is at 7:45 a.m. or p.m. It's 7:45 a.m. I'm sorry to say. Did I not? I remember looking that up last week. Did I put it on the Blackboard website, or put it on Blackboard, or did I just send it out in an email? Anyway, I'll make sure I put that. Make sure I put that as 7:45 a.m. I think the only classes that have nighttime finals are the ones that have nighttime classes. I think if you're in the daytime, you're pretty well stuck with daytime. It says PM. Oh dear. All right, let me straighten that out right away. Course content. It does, doesn't? Oh, I see. It's on that. Yeah, on the upcoming dates. That's when I looked it up. I remember now. So let me edit that right at this moment so I don't forget. All right, done, fixed. Thanks for catching that mistake, Matthew. Appreciate it. I don't know what all you folks were doing, but boy, it's just a glorious day here in Kent, Ohio. Probably the nicest we've had all year. Beautiful sunshine, no wind. I've been trying to get some work today done on the next exam, but it's going slow. I spent a lot of time out in the great outdoors. So I'm sort of starting to figure out the final. I think what I'm probably going to do is start with 4 definite integrals. And I'm guessing that's probably going to be 10 points apiece, so there'll be 40 points there. So that allows me to check on a couple of things. I can make sure that you know how to do antiderivatives, and then I can make sure that you understand the basic idea of a definite integral. So I'm thinking that's where I'm going to start. And in these, there'll be one of them that has e to some power of x, and there'll be one that starts something like 3 over 2x or something where you need the logarithm. There'll be one that has a root and a radical in it, and there'll be one of them that's some sort of a polynomial. That way I can check and make sure you know plus minus rule, you know the constant multiply rule, you know the power rule, you know what to do with e to a linear function. This, I guess, is the power rule again, but a little more complicated. And this one, the antiderivative, of course, comes out to be use the natural log. So I think I'm going to start there. That'll be 40 points out of the 102. And then the other 62 points will probably be some of the application type things we've been doing. I think that makes a lot of sense because we have spent a lot of time on the applications. There'll be a Gini index for sure. That's what comes up on tomorrow's work. Lorenz curve question, that comes up on tomorrow's work. Area under a curve. How do you set up that definite integral? And area between curves, how do you set up those definite integrals? I probably won't have a really complicated area between curves where I make you go from the start to the end. If you get those first 4 right, that indicates to me that you know how to do the definite integrals. So I'll probably just have you set up those definite integrals in the area between curves. Gini index probably be another case where I just ask you to set up those definite integrals. And then some of the word problems that we've been doing. So we will definitely want to know how to use the equation editor. I think everyone except for maybe 2 people so far have been able to figure out that equation editor. And if you're one of those 2 people, let's chat a little bit, probably on Blackboard, collaborate, so that I can talk you through it. I have been assured by the people who know that everyone has access to that equation editor, and it might be a matter of a pop-up blocker or something, but everyone should be able to find that. So I'm guessing that's shaping up pretty well. That gives me, let's see, there's 40 points there. That gives me 60 points. I'll need an area between curves, Gini index, Lorenz curve. Yeah, I would guess probably those other, if these are 40 points, probably maybe 10 more questions, 6 points apiece, something like that. That's how things are looking at this very moment. I always want to refine my exam quite a bit as the day gets closer. I want to make sure it's not too long, not too short. Not a lot of places where people can misread the questions. That was not an issue at all in the last test, which was good. I did release the review packet for exam number 4. And there's a traditional review packet for the final exam. I'm undecided whether I'll be able to tweak it enough. I authored this probably about 3 years ago. I pulled a bunch of questions off a bunch of different activities, and then I sent that out to all my colleagues as well. That's been the official final exam review packet. This semester we've covered a little less material, so I'm either going to have to go back and edit the whole thing, or else say these are the problems you can ignore. But that'll be available to you probably next Friday, if not Thursday, right after class. So what we have left to do is, let's see, Tuesday we have class on the Lorenz curve to Gini index, fairly tame material that deals with area between curves and in a function. Test on Thursday, and then the last new material we'll cover for class on Tuesday. I'll have the video ready to go on that definitely by Thursday after class. So today I'll take any questions you have either on the exam coming up, Twist that back a little bit. There's still a lot of glare, isn't there? No, that's much better. Yeah, yeah. So take any questions you have either on the exam packet or the activity that's due for tomorrow, which was the area between curves. Or if you wanted to look ahead a little bit, you want to get started on the newest activity. If you had questions, you started some of those and they didn't make sense. If you have some of those ready to go, that'd be fine as well. So we have 4 of you tuned in. Let me know what you want me to do. Sure, yeah, one that has fractions, why not? So in the Lorenz curve, there's 2 things we're going to do. The Lorenz curve itself, inputs a proportion and outputs a proportion. Inputs a proportion of the population and outputs either the proportion of the wealth or the proportion of the income that the original proportion has. So let's do one like this. How about L of X is equal to, how about 1/4 X to the third plus 3/4 X squared. All right, so there's the Lorenz curve. Let's say I'm interested in what, and let's say this is the Lorenz curve for the wealth of city A. So if I asked you to do some calculations just with this Lorenz curve, say I asked you what L of 0.2 was, calculate that out for me and then write a sentence, tell me what it means. Well, let's see, that would be 1/4 times 0.2 cubed plus 3/4 times 0.2 squared. So this will be 1/4 of 0.2 and 0.2 is 0.04, 0.008 plus 3/4 of 0.4. All right, so that'd be 0.002 plus, oops, 0.04. There we go. Plus 0.03. Get my decimals in the right spot. That's right, 0.02 plus 0.03. There we go. Yep. Okay. 0.032. Okay. So now let's see if we can understand what this means. I always like to present my information here. It's like everything in math. You do your calculations in decimal, and then you present your work in percentage. The Lorenz curve is always, the input is always the bottom proportion. So I guess bottom works. The bottom 20% of the population see, this is the wealth, so it controls or owns, either one of those verbs would be fine, controls 3.2% of the wealth. That percentage, of course, always has to be less than the percentage that you're inputting. Otherwise, this would make no sense. The bottom 20% can't control 50% of the stuff. That makes no sense at all. Okay, so the bottom 20% of the population controls 3.2% of the wealth. So that's the Lorenz curve. It gives you the proportion versus proportion. It has nothing to do with the Gini index. Well, it has little to do with the Gini index. The Gini index is something we calculate from the Lorenz curve, and that just gives us a number that really has no units. But if this were a Lorenz curve, whoopsie, I know it would go from 0, 0 to 1, 1 because I checked that out. 1/4 and 3/4 is 1. And I know enough about the way polynomials go to understand that that would have a little belly to it. So I'm looking for the area between this curve, which is y is equal to x, and this curve, which is 1/4 x cubed plus 3/4 x squared. So I'm going to find the area between the two, and then I'm going to double it. And I explain the doubling phenomena in the video. So the area between the curve goes from 0 to 1. This is the ordered pair. 0% of the population has 0% of the wealth. This is the ordered pair 1, 1. 100% of the population, of course, has to control 100% of the wealth. Now the difference between the two. How did I get that 1 over x in there? Jeez. All right, here we go. Upper function minus lower function. So there's the area between the curve. I don't care if you put the 2 in front of it and carry that 2 all the way through, or you remember to double later. I like to remember to double later. That's just the way I've always done these. But if you want to slap a 2 there and carry that 2 along through all the way, hey, that'll be fine. I think my next step on this one would probably be to distribute the minus sign. So let me copy it over up here in a little better form. X minus 1/4 x cubed plus 3/4 x squared dx. And remember to distribute the minus sign. There we go. So change those 2 pluses to 2 minuses. Now let's take the antiderivative. Antiderivative of x, 1/2 x squared, and raise the power by 1 multiplied by the new reciprocal of the new power. This one I can almost read off. That's just got to be x to the 4th. That's, oh, no, it doesn't either. Okay, it's got to be 1/4 times 1/4 x to the 4th raised to the power by 1 multiplied by the reciprocal of the new power. Minus 3/4 times, let's see, the new power would be x cubed, so that would be 1/3. And I'm not going to mess around with plus c because it's going to subtract off when I do my 2 limits. All right, so make this look as pretty as possible. 1/2 x squared minus 1/16 x to the 4th. Cross cancel there, I guess, huh? Minus 1/4 x cubed. Evaluate that from 1 to 0. Plug in 0 is simple. We'll get a 0 back. Plugging in a 1, I'm going to get 1/2 minus 1/16 minus 1/4. And if this one's going to come out sort of nice since they're all 16ths, since I can express them as 16ths. Otherwise, grab your calculator. I don't care. 8/16 minus 1/16 minus, would that be 4/16? It looks like that's 3/16. And if I were to double that would be 6/16. Oh, we'll do this first. 3 divided by 16 is approximately 0.1875. So the area between the curves is 0.1875. If I multiply that by 2, I will get 0.375. So there's the Gini index. And I've been doing a little bit of research, as you probably saw if you've opened up the newest activity, about what the Gini indexes look like for both wealth and income in the United States currently. And this is a pretty small number. So this is one of those that's a little more equally distributed than the situation we're facing here. So that one had some fractions in it. Hopefully there's none with more than 2. I don't think I had any on that assignment that had more than 2 fractions. Was that, I didn't look up MLM question number 3. I guess I could take a quick look at it, see if that's what was going on. I looked at those, gosh, last Saturday, I think, even last Friday. I think last Friday I opened them up. Okay, question 2, question 3. Yeah, wow, that was exactly the same, wasn't it? Nice. Did it. A wild guess. So the steps are nothing too new with the fractions. There's just 2 of them there. Make sure you distribute the minus sign. So I covered both of those. I think on the question on MyLabs, it was just find the Gini index, was it not? Yep. Oh, it's just set them up. Oh, okay. Yeah. So make sure you I don't. MyLabs is so forgiving. I bet if you just put a set of parentheses in, they would count that correct. That's my understanding. And I've worked with this program for a lot of semesters, and I would bet that if you wrote this in here this way, they would count it correct. If anyone gets stuck, of course, anytime you get stuck on MyLab, if it's before class, if you want to chat with me, I'm always available. Collaborate Ultra. Well, I have decided to do review sessions again. Let me put some solid footing on those. If I remember, I'll put these on Blackboard as well. Review sessions before exam 3 are really popular. I'm fairly sure I remember what I did last time. I think it was noon on Wednesday and 11 a.m. on Thursday. I'll give you a chance to digest everything we learn in class tomorrow. And a good opportunity to give you good opportunity to practice some of the questions that I have on the practice exam. If you can understand everything on the practice exam, then this will be a piece of cake. It'll be just like the last one. As I was grading through the homework and grading through the quiz last time, it seems like still on the word problems, people are getting lost on the units a little bit, and they're also getting lost on, if I give you a graph, I'm getting lost on what something like this would mean in the context of the problem. And getting the units right has also been an issue. I would say that's an issue with maybe 30% of the students who took that quiz last time. But once you understand it, I mean, it's not, there's no give or take to it. I mean, this is whatever units those are times whatever those units are, that tells you automatically. So if you have units, and whatever you have here and whatever you have here, when you multiply those units together, that's how this thing will be measured. And once you know what the thing is measuring, understanding what it is usually pretty easy. Any more questions? I'm sort of rambling on up here. So you let me know what's on your mind. Nowhere to go today. You have my full undivided attention for as long as you want it. I'm tired of writing the test questions. I can use a little break. Anything, anyone? Well, if something does pop up, send me an email. I'll be checking online probably most of the evening through about 7 or so. And then I'll be back awake tomorrow, probably working on writing the test. I'd say no later than 10:30 in the morning. So if there's something pops up in the next 18 hours or so, really all the way up right until class time, just send me an email and I can give you some feedback. Thanks again, Matthew, for noticing that I had the wrong time up there. I guess it wouldn't have been the worst thing. I just got to open it up again at 7:45 p.m. But I like to have everyone done with it so I can get the grades done and get the grades in the grade book. And then everyone knows what's going on. It's nice having it out of the way soon. All right. Talk to you tomorrow. Again, if you have any questions, send me an email. I can be in touch. Bye now.